Okay, so welcome back. So I'm going to be texturing the nails today. I'm going to be using this reference on the side. But I'm still going to use other references though. So I'm going to be, and while I'm creating while I'm using the reference also, I'm going to try as much as possible to kind of get this to look as close as this as I possibly can. This is another reference also that we can also use for the roughness for the bump or around the surface of the nail. And also this stain from the rust over time on the wood. So we're going to try to recreate this also in our model. Okay, so this also is another example. You can notice here this the color is taking the color tone from the closer part of the nail. Like this particular one is kind of darker because the nail is kind of dark on that edge. Okay, yeah, this is also a good one too. You can draw reference from this also. Okay. So let me just get this. Let's see, maybe let's just keep this one here. So let me just put this by the side and I'll go to the texture set. I'll select the nail and then I'll isolate that. Just give this okay. So I'll isolate that now. So on the layer manager, I'm going to delete that. Let's I think I'm going to start with a material, a default material. Okay, before we do that, let's kind of break up the surface even more. Let's kind of add that bumpy gross surface around this. So I'm creating a new fill layer and then I'll just name this surface dense. Okay. Mm, okay. I'm actually texturing this in real time. So let me just turn off all of this except for height because we want to work on only the height alone to kind of create some bump detail on top of this. And I'm going to be using a map to kind of drive this. So let's see what we have here. Procedural. Let's see what can we use from this procedural. Uh, I don't have anything in mind yet, so I'm just going to play along. So let's put a black mask in here first, and then add a fill layer to that. So let's see, which one can we use? A lot of maps in here. So let me just look for one that should be close enough. Let's see, with this depth one. This one looks interesting, so let me just drag this in here. And I'll go back to the layer itself and I'll increase the intensity. So I'm pushing that towards the positive axis, for the positive value rather. So you can see the bump detail on it now. Okay, not bad at all. So let me just take the texture set. Let me take this to the size to 4K resolution so we can see it at the highest possible resolution value. I like how this is coming out though, but I also need to make some adjustments to this. I'm just checking if everything is working correctly, just to make sure there are no UVs, there are no stretching on this, which is completely this looks completely fine. You can work with this. So let's kind of manipulate that particular procedural texture we added in. Let me kind of check the UVs. You can see how they kind of meet at this UV seam line. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can see a line like so, that line in there. The center line, that's where our UVs are. That's where the seam line of our UV is. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if we can find it. Yeah, this line here, that's the UV line, that's the UV seam line we created inside of Maya. So let's kind of eliminate that by putting this on triplanar mapping. So on triplanar mapping, we have something a bit odd. This feels a bit odd. We might just crank up the scale a bit more. Let's try something around 10. Okay, looking much better now. Okay, now that will kind of ignore the seam line we're having there and just wrap our texture around the entire model. Maybe that is too much. Maybe I can take this down to around 5. Okay, let's zoom into this reference. Let's see. Okay, this particular one has a bit more of a broader and blurred out kind of beaten up metal on top of this. So we didn't do this inside of ZBrush, so we're going to do this inside of Substance Painter. We're going to kind of create that effect. So I would have to, let's see, I'll keep this particular layer as it is. I'll do a duplicate of this layer and then I'll just work with that only. So let's see what we can use in here. Maybe I can rename this. Maybe I'll name this something more specific so I can actually know what it is. Let me just name this Rusty, maybe Rusty Bombs. Okay, Rusty should be fine. So let me hide that. So I'm going to, let me see, let me see. I think I'll just duplicate this layer instead. Let me see. It seems to be an issue with my navigation. Seems to be an issue with my navigation. Okay, let me just duplicate this normally within from the menu. Then I'm going to edit this. So I'll just take this towards the poly negative value. And I'm going to change the map in there. So there's a different map for this. Let me take this down. Okay. Maybe I can even use a different map for this. I'm just checking how this looks like. If I can actually change this up. Let me change the scale to around 1. It's not giving me exactly what I want. So I'm going to use a different procedural texture map for this. Let me just use this cloud 3. So it looks, this particular texture map looks a bit softer on the edge. So let me try this out. Now increase the value a bit more. Let's see. Let me just change this to UV projection. Let's see what UV projection gives us. And take this down to around 1. No, that one is too small. Let's try 5. Okay. We're getting there. We just need to change this up a bit more. Okay. Let me increase this all the way up. I'm still not satisfied with the texture. Let's see if we can manipulate this a bit more. Let's try to get something in there. So let's just keep modifying this a bit more until we have something that looks close enough to what we want. So let me just change this again to, let me try this fill. No, try plain now. Okay, let me just see on the keyboard. Let's see the mark. Let's see how the marks is. The marks looks really weird. So let me just crank this up. Okay, now we're getting something now. Okay. Let's see what else can we adjust in here. Okay. Let me just adjust this balance now. Now let me invert this and okay. Now we're getting something. Now I'm kind of eliminating the blacks even more and just removing the whites. So we don't want this to be too tight around the surface. We want something a bit broader, just the way it is right now. So let's see if I can change something up here. Let me change this up. Let me put this down instead. It's supposed to be like the bottom level. This bottom level height information on this model. So let me just change this to something bump. Okay. I'm still going to manipulate. Let me just add the filter. I need to blow out this intensity of this height information. So I'm going to be using a blur filter for this. So I want to kind of make the intensity a bit more softer around the edge. So that will just give us a kind of beaten up metal look. So as you can see, this feels more like a beaten up metal look, just like the reference image now. So this will actually work. All I have to do is to play with the intensity of this until I have something I want. But I think so far this looks close enough and good enough to use. You can see how random it is, which is exactly what I want. Let me turn on the bumpy one on the at the top, which is on the top layer. So you can see with both of them mixed together now we have something really interesting. We have something very interesting now, which is basically what I want. Okay, you can definitely work with this. So I'll just take this down. That feels too intense. Let me take this down like so. So you have the complete freedom now to kind of change the intensity of this however way you want until you're satisfied. Let's see. Maybe we can. Okay. Let's see. Let me add an anchor point on this because I want to reuse. Click on anchor points. I want to reuse this to kind of drive the the cavity or curvature map. So I'm going to be adding anchor point on this. So add another anchor point on this also. So I can kind of reference this. I kind of make this work with the curvature map when I use like some rusty surface on top of this metal. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So just make sure you add the anchor point there. So now let's go to the material. Let's kind of bring in a rust looking material. So we have two in there now, rust fine and rust coarse. So I'm going to be using this rust coarse instead. So let me just drag this in here. Okay. So now right off the bat, we have something quite interesting enough to begin to work on and then change and then manipulate until we have something good enough to work with. It actually looks cool. If you decide to leave this as it is, you can if you want to, but I feel this thing still needs a bit more work to kind of make it look more realistic. See, you can see some more darker tones on top of this. So, but this one, the darker tones are not too obvious. So, I'm going to be using another metallic material to kind of drive the darker tone on this. Because this particular darker tone on the reference image feels like metal underneath that is kind of that has been scratched on some surface and then it has not gotten rusted on like the other parts of the key. So these parts that are not too rusted, like the metal piece underneath it that is not yet rusted. So that part is more shiny. So let me just try this particular one. This steel rust. Let me try this steel rust on top of all of this. So I'm going to be using this steel rust to kind of drive this metallic unrusted part of the metal. You can see how it covers everything now. So we're going to be using a max to kind of drive where it should be. So first things first, we're going to let me just this metal feels more like plastic to me than metal though. Feels more plasticky than metal. I don't know. Let me see if I can adjust something in here. Maybe the metal rough. Let's try just the metal rough. No, 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 definitely not, definitely. Let me undo that. Let's just work with it like this, believing that this particular material is called rust metal. It's called steel rust, so it should actually be steel. So obviously we're going to add the black marks there. Then we're going to use a smart marks to kind of drive that. Okay. Let's see. Let's look for something that is interesting. I'm not just picking anything in here. I want to kind of look something that looks very close to what I need it for. And something I need is something that is on top of not it's not completely covering it, just like more or less a grunge map can work fine for this. But let's use this roughness map instead. Let's use this raw smart. Let's use this smart maps instead. I want something that affects the edges of the metal and also on the body of the metal also. So this actual one looks cool, but it's not affecting the edges. Let's look for something here. This one looks fine. It's affecting the edges and also affecting the body also. So let's drag this in here. So let's give this a moment to kind of calculate and then give us something. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, it looks it's doing its job, but not. This is not exactly what I want. This is not exactly what I want. I'll still need to manipulate this and change this up a bit more. This is not exactly what I. Based on reference image, this is not. It's close, but not close enough. It's just all over the place. I don't want it to be all over the place. And that's why I'm going to be using our maps, the anchor point maps, to kind of drive the curvature region or the curvature angles and depths and crevices of this metal nail. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So let me come in here. Let's see if there's something else we can adjust in here before moving on. Technical parameters. Is anything here? No, this is fine. This is fine. Let's see. So let's go to the max itself. Let's go to the smart map instead. So let's kind of use our anchor point for that. So I'll scroll all the way down. The anchor point, that map was created with the height channel. So we're going to go to the height channel because we created it with our height channel. So go to the height, micro height, then go to the anchor point, then select, let's try this dense rusty. Let's try one of these. Let's try this upper one instead. Then we go up. We want to look for micro details. Yeah, micro details. So in the micro details, we're going to turn on micro heights because we use the height channel for this. So let's see what that gives us. Okay. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's adjust the curvature. Let's adjust the height, detail, intensity. Let's see what that gives us. Doesn't seem to be doing much either. I think I actually made a mistake somewhere. Yes, let's kind of fix the mistake. Let me try dragging this up. Nope, it won't work. You can see the red line at the layer, giving you an error that's not supposed to be on top. So let me just undo that. So let's kind of, instead of putting that on, let's put the anchor point on the max instead. So I'm deleting that. So I'll select the max and I'll add the anchor point on the max instead. Okay, so now go back. Then I was on the max instead. So then I'll select this again, the smart max, click in here, anchor point. Now select the top one, bump maps. Now, yeah, I think this will work now. I can see it's loading now. I think that's where I made a mistake. So now we have something in here. Now we have something in here. That we can actually start adjusting. Okay. Let's see. Let's make some corrections to this. Maybe I can take this even down. Let's see what that gives us. Man, my pace is quite slow. It's taking a lot of time. Doesn't seem to do much though. Something feels wrong. Something feels wrong. Something feels wrong. We need to fix this. Something feels wrong. So let's try and fix this. Everything looks fine, but something feels a bit off though. Let me just try if I can try another metal material. Maybe this one should work. Let's see what that gives us. Nah, it's just way too bright. It's way too bright. It's way too bright. You need something a bit darker. That's way too bright. So let me just darken this even more. Maybe that will give us something interesting. Because I feel this metallic, I can't really see the metallicity, the metallic nature of this material. I'm just trying to get it to look more metallic. Maybe I'm wrong though. This part, the material says it's actually metal. But let's see if we can make this work. Because this particular one is actually all over the place, and I don't want it to be all over the place. Let me adjust the balance. Maybe this will fix something for us. It should probably fix it though, because we're taking down the intensity of it. Yes, now we're getting something a bit much better. Let me take this down like so. Maybe somewhere around here should be fine. Okay, we're getting better now. Okay, let's see. Let me tell you, I put that in the wrong place. Let me just add the marks in the right place now. I mean, an anchor point rather. Okay. Let's see. I still feel something feels a bit off. Let me see if there's something we can adjust in here. Okay, yeah, we used the wrong one. We actually used the wrong one. We're supposed to use this one instead, the one at the bottom instead. Yeah, much better. We're supposed to use that bumpy one. Now it feels much better now. Now it feels much better now. I was actually using the broader noise map we used to kind of make it look more beaten up. We're supposed to use the grungy one instead. So the grungy one we're supposed to use. The first one, we first bumpy surface we created. That's the one we're supposed to use for as the anchor points. Now it feels much better now. Except for it feels too flat. This thing still feels too flat. I can't really see the bumpiness in there anymore. It feels really flat. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. So let's try to fix that. Let's try to fix that. To be something that might not necessarily be our fault. So let's try and fix that bumpy surface. No, it's still not bumpy. This is not it. Let's see. Okay. We'll figure it out. Let's just retrace our steps. I think we need to retrace our steps. Let's just retrace. If we're able to retrace our steps, we should be able to figure out what is wrong with this. The texture is actually in there, but just the bumpiness. That bumpiness is not actually in there. Okay. And also, I also need to kind of paint out some of this. It just feels too much. It just feels too much on the edge. I want to kind of erase some of it from the edge itself. No, I don't think this looks fine. Okay. So I think I'm going to paint this by hand. Okay. First of all, let's try if we can see a particular smart marks that will do a better job for us. If not, we might just have to paint that in by hand. Basically, what I'm trying to do is to add some kind of review the metallic nature of the material on the nail head itself. I want to kind of review that even more on the edge. So I want to kind of look for a smart mark that's more focused on the edges of the material. Maybe this should work. Edge dusty. Let's see what this edge dusty does for us. So Let's see, it's kind of faded into the model though it's capturing the edge like we want it to. But let's see how this looks like when we kind of hit M on the keyboard, kind of bring back our material to kind of view this. Yeah, this looks close enough though. I think now we can actually start painting. We can actually start painting on top of this. Let me just review this. You can see it's very subtle change in there, not too visible. Maybe I will try another mask on top of this. Maybe I can try another mask on top of it. Let's see if that will give us something a bit different. Let me hide this for now and drag this on top. Let's see what this gives us. Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. This is a no. This is definitely a no. It's just all over the place. This is just all over the place. So maybe I can just let me invert this. Uh no. Just feels too rounded on the edge. Feels very unnatural. This is not a natural way. This is not a natural. This doesn't look natural at all. I'm guessing I might just have to paint this by hand. Let me just delete that newly added smart marks. Now just leave the original one that was there initially. Then I'm going to kind of paint this by hand. Let me add a paint layer, add a add paints, okay. Now I'm going to be using I'm going to be using the dirt brush. I'm just typing dirt in here. I'm just going to start painting on the head of the nail. Just to review that the metal, dark metal or dark metal on top of it. Let me come in here, don't just paint. Let me just take down the size, something like so. No, something feels wrong. Something feels a bit wrong. Let's see. Drag this up. So I've actually deleted that max, smart max rather, because I'm not really seeing the effects in there. So I'm just painting this by hand. You need to put this on top. Okay, I'm going to change this to white. I don't know why it's not changing to white. This meta is supposed to change it to white and black. There's not supposed to be a material in there. Is there a material in there? Yeah, delete that. Yeah, much better now. I can actually paint. Nice on full white here. Much better. I can actually paint now. Some of this occurred when we dragged that material in there. It kind of filled itself inside the brush marking. So now let's start painting this. So that I believe that this is the idea I'm trying to paint in now. Just preview the metal parts. Let's see. Something else feels wrong. Can't really see that bumpy, that ground surface on top of this also. Something else went wrong. Something else went wrong in between. So let's kind of trace our step and then fix this. So the bumpy surface is not there. Let's check in there. I've seen it. The height channel has a max. The height channel has a material in there. The height channel has a material in there. You can see. So I'll need to let's see. So I'll need to let's see. I need to delete this. This should bring back the detail. Let's see. to delete this, and then I'm going to increase the intensity. So let me just hide every that now and leave the hide channel. Some of these technical issues you might encounter, yeah, much better now. Nice back, nice back. Some of these technical issues you can encounter, all you have to do is kind of retrace your step, and then check everything again. And then anything that was not there, that's not supposed to be there, just take it off and then make adjustments to it. That's way too intense. Now it feels much better now. This is actually what we needed it to be. So now we're all good now. We can just continue texturing this. So what actually caused the issue was dragging the material. Sometimes when you drag a material from the material library and drop on your model, it kind of goes into one of your fill layers, the neutral fill layers, and then it just plugs itself into that fill layer. So all you have to do was kind of retrace your step, and then if you find any of those in there, just kind of delete them and then make your adjustment to get this back to where it was before. Okay, so I kind of went around and then painted around some of the edges of the nail. So now let's kind of create this stain on the hole. Let's create this stain